Hi, everybody. This is Adam Moore for Reformed and Reloaded. I'm here with Marcus Pittman from Crown Rights Media. Marcus, how's it going?
How's it going, Adam?
Pretty good. So, first thing I have to ask you, since you're on the show, is what do you shoot?
I shoot with a Canon camera and several lenses.
Very nice. I don't own it. Actually, I do own a Canon camera, but it's a little power shot. So,
Right. The reloaded in the title means like film, right? Reloading film.
oh, we go with that too. I
Okay,
mean,
all right.
they don't have.
Because
Well, we don't.
I was like, that's weird. I'm not a gun guy. Why am I being invited on a gun show? Oh, reloaded must mean film, and that's why we're going to talk about debating Dillahunty and arts and stuff like that, right?
There you go. Yeah, we'll go. We'll
All
go with
right.
that.
Completely changing the podcast, but that's okay.
Um, well, I know that you're into media and television and film and things like that. So one of the things that struck me, and it obviously struck you too, because I saw your article. You wrote an article about the fact that over this past weekend with the Super Bowl, there were a lot of commercials that had to deal with men and man and fatherly type issues. And the article that you wrote, what was the actual title of it? Selling Fatherhood or something like that?
Selling fatherhood. The
Yeah, and,
Super Bowl sells us family.
right. And so it's almost as if in today's culture there's such a vacuum of positive male role models, of father figures, of biblical manhood, that even the culture is feeling that that vacuum. So maybe we talk
Yeah,
a little bit about that.
it's interesting. I think that more and more humanist a culture gets, the more it starts to desire the things of Christ unintentionally, of course. So it's kind of like that's how Reformation happens when it's just at the bottom, and that's when revival happens. And so when you looked at the Super Bowl, and usually like every year during the Super Bowl, it's just like the GoDaddy commercials are the worst. And this year they had a really great one about a business owner.
I
And
saw that
then
one. That was really great.
I was like,
It
well,
was the complete opposite of what they normally do.
yeah, it's fantastic. It almost made me want to sign up for GoDaddy, but not. But and then you had let's see, there was Toyota and Chevrolet, I think, were the two, or no, Nissan. It was Nissan that was the fatherhood commercial with the race car driver and his son waiting for him to return home. It was just really amazing. You had uh, the one where the daughter is driving to the airport, and the father is, you see him as a protector and a provider, and you see that throughout there. I mean, it's just, really fantastic commercials, I think, this year that you don't normally get at the Super Bowl. Usually they portray men as the dumb and ignorant, and they portray men as, college jocks who haven't grown up, or the sitcom father where, they don't know how to work a dishwasher or something like that. And so it was really refreshing to see grown men who had responsibilities of their children in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, lately I've been noticing that the culture is really latching on to strong male figures, even if they may be in some cases misguided or just anti-biblical in general. But you people like the heroes that we have today are people like Walter White, Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead. You have people like you still have things like James Bond and things like that, but you have
Well, I would still say
Grimes, yeah, yeah.
Grimes. He's pretty decent.
Oh yeah,
That's
definitely.
I definitely see him. He's the interesting thing about The Walking Dead is it consistently provides every opportunity to not be Christian, but it always ends out on the Christian side. And when I speak of Christian, I mean uh, the theme of The Walking Dead is the Imago Dei of man. They won't say that, but that's what it is. You have every opportunity in that world. If I was in that world, uh, why in the world would I care about other people? Why would I not want my family uh, to survive at all costs? Why would I not rob and steal? There's no government. It's complete anarchy. Yet, for some reason, Grimes and all the other in this core group are really focused on there's an inherent reason to look out after our fellow man and stuff, even though they're in that world they've created, there's not. And it's really fantastic because the biggest enemy in the show are the zombies. Are not the zombies.
Right.
It's the people.
Right.
So.
And it's interesting. You see Carl, the son, who is kind of pushes his dad kind of back in a more positive direction. And I mentioned this in another venue. There was a book in the movie called The Road, and I don't know if you're familiar with that story, but it's post-apocalyptic, and the son is the one who is kind of pushes his dad into being more moral than he would normally have been. Although Rick kind of went off the rails for a little bit, just went a little crazy, but that was probably due to dehydration or something. I don't know, but and stress. But
yeah, it'll be interesting to see if his son brings him back.
Yeah, well, overall, I think that he's maintained a good posture relative to the rest of humanity. But overall, we see this since men just traditionally, and we even see in the Bible, the first man, Adam, abdicated his responsibility. We see this just complete breakdown of what a biblical man is supposed to look like in our society. I mean, we see it go up and down, but right now I think we're especially feeling it really, really poignantly because we have in a non-biblical way, like women taking over everything, and what we want to see as believers is men fulfilling their godly roles to be protectors, to be providers for their families, and you're just not seeing that. And so when we look at the SuperBowl thing that you were talking about in your article, it's really interesting that it's like the culture knows what the right thing is. They know what's beautiful and what's true and what's godly, and eventually it kind of works its way back around to it.
Yeah, the premise of that article was that if I'm a marketing company, my goal is to create a desire in somebody to buy that product. And I can do that in several ways, and none of those reasons have to make people actually want the product. I can make somebody want something, and that something can remind them of the product. And so in there we see that they're selling fatherhood. If you get a Nissan, you will be a good father. If you get a Chevrolet or whatever car it is, you'll be a great father. You'll be you'll have kids that love you. You'll have a family that loves you, and so that's kind of what they're selling there. They're not really selling the car. The commercial had nothing to do with the car, other than the fact that it was taking a girl to the airport, which I would not say ideal parenting would be sending off your child to the military, your daughter to the military. But I'll give them credit where it is.
You're right. That's for another segment.
Okay.
Possibly.
All right.
But I agree with where you're going with that.
I just wanted to mention it because I've had trolls, bring it out there, and I
That's the thing when you're critiquing entertainment, like every single aspect of a particular story. I mean, I've heard you mention your fascination with Breaking Bad before, specifically on Apology or Radio, and so somebody who really wants to take a hardline approach says like, well, I don't agree with this, I don't agree with drug use, I don't agree with that, therefore it's bad. We're not looking at each individual part of the story.
Right,
we're looking over the overarching theme.
You can't rebuke a film. I mean, you have to rebuke a film the same way you rebuke a child. Like if people were to rebuke their children the same way they rebuke the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, for example. If I share something on Facebook with Jimmy Fallon, I get, oh, why are you sharing this demonic, blasphemous stuff? And the stuff I share isn't, but just because somebody sins doesn't mean the whole total of his being and everything he does is sin. So that we
Right.
forget about common grace. Like a lot of people when they refer to media, they look at media as utterly depraved as opposed to being made by people who are totally depraved. So there's that distinction there that's really important.
Yeah,
So
which is why I mean people don't vet their classical musicians, like that aren't even performing anything with words. Christians don't generally do that. Even the most conservative fundamentalist Christians don't do that. But so just because something is made by someone who's not a Christian doesn't mean it's in and of itself is sinful, and I think we get away from that a lot.
yeah, and I don't. Not only that, I don't let their worldview interpret reality.
Right.
So sometimes an artist is wrong, and I'll give an example. I've heard a lot. I think a good case can be made that the original intention of Frozen is about coming out in a homosexuality. I think a case could be made there that the original intention was that. You have a lot of references to being behind the closet, being behind the doors. I mean, that's there, and then she comes out, and then everything's great. And however, I don't accept that interpretation because I think the story caused that to fail. As in,
Well, yeah,
yeah. So like "Let It Go" is the villain song,
exactly.
and she injures and almost kills her sister when she lets it go. And
Right.
it's not until I think my pastor said this. It's not really until there's a proper understanding of herself and how she's to use. If you were to compare it to sexuality, it's not so she understands the proper use of sexuality that she is freed from her sin and the problems that caused in the family. And so it failed. It might have been the original intention, but it completely failed, and you can't make homosexuality the positive thing in Frozen. It just doesn't work from a narrative structure. And so that's what I said. So like people might be right when they say that, but then I just say, well, they failed, and I would let my kids watch this movie because they did a bad job. And I think it's grace of God that they failed in that too.
Yeah, I've spent plenty of hours watching that. I have a 5-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son who actually really loves it too. But
Yeah.
but
I'm
yeah,
a 30-year-old guy who loves it, so.
yeah, it's an amazing movie. I mean, Disney really stepped up their game there. But the kind of getting back to, I mean, even with Disney, we see, it's kind of like the old joke is the fact that in Disney movies all the parents die off and people are orphans and there's not like a normal structure for a family other than like Rapunzel maybe, Entangled, but kind of getting back to what we were talking about as far as the Super Bowl is concerned. I'm really looking forward to kind of returning to people waking up to the idea of biblical manhood, because we've swung so far into the feminist direction that people like now we have a term called lumber sexual. We have the idea that like men should have beards and that's what's sexy in the culture, and wearing flannels and looking like a man. It's just so interesting that it's starting to run its course, and we're kind of getting it out of our system as a society.
I work at a cigar lounge when I'm not doing filming and production, and I was at a training meeting yesterday. Yesterday, and at the meeting, somebody I was sitting beside looks at me and he goes, "You've joined the cigar employee beard club." And I said, "What?" He's like, "Look around. Everybody had a beard. Everybody that worked there had a beard, except for maybe two people." And I was like, "Huh." I think I don't remember who said this, but someone said that a beard is a gift that God has given men to define them as men. And so when we have a culture who has lost track as to what it is to be a man, all of a sudden you look around and everybody has a beard, and it's almost like this last gasp of manhood in our culture. It's like, see, I'm still a man, even though I didn't have a father to raise me, even though my mother raised me, or my grandparents or whoever. I have a beard. I still made it out, and I'm a man. I think that's true. But in Christianity specifically, I think it's interesting. The men have beards to make a point that they're men.
Oh yeah.
Like we are men, and so it's like we want to be seen as like the farthest away from metrosexual as possible, or homosexual as possible, and so that's kind of like the reason we do it. I personally hate shaving.
Me too.
I'll
Jump on the bandwagon any way you can. Procrastination, whatever.
Yeah. My friends Tony and Shannon Denham just started a beard oil company called Yukon's Beard, and they make really cool beard oil. And it's so popular you can make a business out of it. So you can check them out on Facebook at Yukon Beard. So, but right. Fantastic beard oil. Never had beard oil, but I'm looking to get some this weekend though. So.
I have beard balm from Delicious Beard, and it works really well. Right now, my beard is not as full and glorious as it normally is, but
right.
But I gotta keep the wife happy too. So, so I didn't want to leave without the opportunity for you to tell us about the new project you have coming out. You have Debating Dillahunty with Saitan Bruggencate. That's coming out next couple weeks.
It is. It's coming out on Vimeo on demand, and it's coming out on Vimeo on demand, and the website is vimeo.com/ondemand/debate. And then it's a fantastic documentary. I'm actually shocked at how awesome it turned out because there was so little footage to really make a story. And most people have already seen the debate, so we didn't really want to make it about the debate because the debate's out there for free. So we really made it. I think the film is a great, heartfelt film about how someone should behave towards the lost. And I think when How to Answer the Fool came out, a lot of people said that they saw Cy as this angry guy who was just, wanted to just pound people on the ground over and over and over again. And so I think this one, Debating Dillahunty, really shows Cy as a guy who has a passion for the lost. And I think that's the point that's going to get out. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see how people react. And by react, I mean I hope we sell a lot. So.
All right. Well, we'll definitely post a link to it. And
and you can pre-order now. I encourage you. You might say, that's really stupid to pre-order because you're not going to run out of digital copies. However, it makes a difference to Vimeo when they're looking to feature products and stuff. They can say this, video has, however many pre-orders, and it might help them make a decision to really feature it and to really get it out there and draw attention by someone like Netflix or some other major distributor that would want to really get it out there. So just encourage you to share the trailer, promote the film, just get it out there, distribute it, tell your friends. We don't have a multi-million-dollar marketing budget. we don't even really have $1,000 to market it. But we rely on the viralness of the film to do that. So I will say this. I won't give anything away. However, there is a scene in this film in which debating Matt Dillahunty forgot that his lapel mic was on and that we were still recording. And that's really important. So if you really want to watch the film, you should just watch it for that. I think it's pretty good. So
I'm really looking forward to it. I loved How to Answer the Fool, and you're right, I've had people that said that Cy came off a certain way. But I've met Cy, I know what he's about, and I know he's a very sweet guy. And even when he does his talks and when he does his conferences and stuff like that, like he makes it very clear. He speaks to grandma a certain way, and he speaks to a hardened atheist another way. And even when he's talking about hardened atheists, he still has a love for them that may not come out in the debate itself right at the moment. But I definitely recommend his ministry and yours as well. So the other thing is you have coming up is in a few weeks, the conference in Arizona called God, Government, and something.
Yes, it's the God, Governments, and Culture Conference. Really long name. I just call it GGC 15.
There you go.
So yeah, the GGC conference is coming out. It's going to be awesome. Jeff Durbin from Apologia Radio, Cy Tim Bergenkate, me, Ivy Connerly will be there. He'll be talking about the music and Christianity. And then there'll be Joe McDermott, of course, and there'll be John Crawford, who we did another film on baptism.
That converted me, by the way.
Did it really?
Yeah, it really did. I actually had my kids baptized about a couple months ago. Yeah.
Well, that is great news. Well, then let me plug that unashamedly now. That is, you can get that at covenantaldivide.com, and you can just download it as soon as you buy it, right there, straight from the website, covenantaldivide.com. The film is called Baptism is Not Enough, How an Understanding of Covenant Changes Everything. And I'm going to tell you, I was like Presbyterian before we shot and filmed that, but I remember filming that, and we were sitting in this coffee shop, and there's like several times where, like, I think my camera just goes, because I was just like holding it, and he would just say stuff, and like, so that moved me from a point of like being a Presbyterian to just seeing that it does actually matter, and people like to say it doesn't really matter, there's unity among diversity, and of course there is. We can all be friends. I have Baptist friends, I have Presbyterian friends, but you start to see that there really is an importance to the issue that makes it something worth fighting for, and that's just how it is. And you got to watch that film, and it comes with a book too.
Yeah, I have the book.
The book is Baptism is Not Enough, and that is really fantastic. And John Crawford is one of these rare people who everybody needs to know. He needs to be at every conference speaking, and he needs to be just out there. People need to have him on more. The Reformed Pub wouldn't let him on.
He is able to make the inexplicable very, very easily understood.
Yeah, I think people are scared of him.
He is, like, seriously, it's like when after listening to him, it's like I can't argue with what you're saying. I would like to hear I'd like to hear him on other topics as well. But
the film, just to be clear, the film is not about baptism. The book is really not about
covenants.
Baptism. It's about covenant and how God works through covenant. And he explains covenant in such a simple way that you can't argue against what he's saying. Like a basic one that he brings up, I'll just bring it up real quick, is he talks about covenantal authority and who's the authority. So in the United States, even though I live in Virginia, the president is still the authority, and I don't have a choice in that matter per se. And then also because I was born in America, I don't have a choice as to who. Whether or not I'm a U.S. citizen. I am automatically because of my birth. And then he goes to say that the same is true if it works in the state that way. It works in the family that way because if I'm born, I'm automatically a Pittman, whether I want to or not. I'm automatically under the authority of my household, and it works that way in church. If my father is ruler over me, then I am subject to all the covenantal blessings and curses, just the same way the president goes and does something stupid as a citizen, I'm subject to the covenantal curses or the covenantal blessings if he does something right. So it works that way in every system. And when you understand how God works through covenant, it's hard to say that suddenly in the New Testament, it doesn't work that way anymore.
Right, and even if you're not in it for the baptism topic, it really gives you a good understanding of covenantal theology and Reformed theology from that perspective, and kind of takes out the idea of we're here to be saved for ourselves and like forget about what happens in our family and our church. And I think it really does a really good job of explaining covenantal theology in a way that I had not understood before. So, but but getting back to the God, Government, and Culture conference, you're going to be there. It's in Arizona. What do you remember what the dates are? It's like the 20 something.
It's the 19th and 20th. The 19th is from 6 to 9. I think Jeff will speak, Joel will speak, and I'm not exactly sure the schedule. I don't have it right in front of me. And then Saturday all day I'll be speaking, Ivy will be speaking, Joel everybody will speak. It's all day, and then at 6 to 9 you have the debate with Jordan Hall and Joe McDermott on theonomy, which by the way Jordan Hall has not shared or promoted one time how people can register for the event. So maybe he's nervous.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he's nervous, or maybe he thinks we're heretics and doesn't want to spread our cancer to his people. So
yeah, he actually mentioned Reformed and Reloaded once, not favorably on it for like 2 seconds on his podcast once. But
he said I would be shocked if Jordan Hall mentioned anybody favorably.
Well, he said Reformed guns and Reformed theology. I don't get it. That's what. But he's into guns because
the guy has pictures of him and Vadi Bakum with like an AK-47.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that. I was thinking about using that. But the guns are just getting you in the door. Really, we're more about we can do multiple things at once. We don't have to just be like a one-trick pony. We can love God. We can love our guns. We can love our technology, our media, and things like that, and there's no reason to bifurcate the whole system.
It's only about souls.
That's it.
The life is only about souls.
Well, according to him, it's about pulpits and it's about pens, which we actually review. We review tactical pens once in a while too. So maybe we're really the pulpit and pen.
Right. Right.
Anyway, so if people also want to get hold of you, they can check out Crime Rights Media. You write for GospelSpam.com, which is we've shared some stuff there before. And,
yeah,
you're all over the place.
Yeah, and I do. Just throw this out here too. I do video productions for corporations and businesses too. So, if you need something like a commercial or a short form documentary for your business, we do that too.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much for joining me. And
thank you for having me. Are you coming to the conference?
I can't afford the time away from the family. I have a newborn.
I like how you said that.
Newborn.
I like how you twisted that. It sounded financial. It sounded financial, but you twisted it right at the end to save your manhood. I liked it.
I have made too many withdrawals from the daddy deposit.
Hey man,
the daddy
good.
bank. and the husband bank. So,
That's great.
but I think somebody from
Only excuse ever allowed.
I think
If you
somebody from
don't
my
have the
church
money,
is supposed to be
if you don't
going.
have the money, work harder. That's what I say, and get out there. No, I'm
That's a
just
good point.
kidding.
But I can't make any more time. That's the other thing.
Yeah. That's what people tell me about cigars. They say cigars is a waste of money. I said, well, just work harder and make more money.
Yeah, well, so is going out to technically so is going out to eat and everything else that
Yeah,
you
that's
find
true.
pleasure in. So
That's true.
each his own. Anyway, thanks again for joining us, and we hope to hear more from you in the future.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
See ya.
Bye.